All right, great. Cheers.
Cheers.
Do you fill this up so high?
I know.
今日は特にちょっと軽口の方ですね。This is great.
Oh, wow.
How do you like this sake? This is different from what I normally get.
I like this. This
Yeah?
is probably my favorite one yet.
This is the cheapest one that I've gotten so far too.
You know, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I for some reason, I always gravitate towards the cheap alcohol.
You know, it's not that it's like bad, like less quality. It's just, this is from Yamanashi. So it's going to have a little bit more karukuchi taste to it. It's not like a really famous area for sake.
Oh, sure.
So that's probably why it's cheaper. But I mean,
Yeah.
hey, dude, I got this at Tokyo for 900 yen, 900 yen. So
Oh my God.
go for it, man.
Wow.
Cool.
That's
So,
amazing.
so Austin, what are we talking about today?
We are going to be talking about holidays, specifically Western holidays here in Japan.
Yeah.
They're a little different.
Like, what first comes to mind is Christmas and the annual KFC dinner.
Oh my God. So I've got kind of a funny little story when it
Yeah.
comes to that. So my first year when I was here in Japan, I
Yeah.
heard about this.
Yeah.
Right. And so as a foreigner, you kind of start seeing the advertisements for KFC like right around like beginning of December, right? Or actually maybe even now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, hey Masa, when do you normally start to see like the KFC chicken advertisements for Christmas? どのようなタイミング？その CM とか見かけたりし始めるのは毎年。
もうどうだろう、12月11月の終わりにはもう出てんじゃないかな。
Yeah, so probably like at around the end of 11月.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, today we have a special guest, Masa.
Yeah.
And so he's just watching. Thank you, Masa.
We got
We
a
hope-
live studio
We hope to have a
audience.
live audience. Yeah, first time. Yeah. So he's our fact checker
Mm-hmm.
because he's Japanese.
Yeah.
So but yeah, so there you go.
So yeah, when I first came here, I saw these advertisements for like KFC Christmas, and I was like, "What, fried chicken? What? Okay, sure." And then like I started seeing more advertisements like the closer we got to Christmas, and I started thinking like, I wasn't aware that Japan really was into fried chicken, but I guess this is a tradition that they do on Christmas. Huh? Okay, that's interesting. So I wanted to assimilate into Japanese culture, so like any good gaijin, I bought this giant meal from KFC on Christmas, and I actually made a recording of it and sent it back to my family. And they thought it was the funniest thing ever because I literally had my entire table in my apartment covered head to toe in like different fried chickens. I had mashed potatoes. I had like the fried potatoes, like the French fries, the biscuits. Which, oh man, let me tell you about KFC biscuits, like with the honey and everything. Oh, that stuff is good.
Wait, so they have honey in them?
No. They got like little honey packets. You heat them up.
Oh,
and then
okay.
you
So
put
this
them
is
on.
not like, this is KFC in Japan.
Yes,
They have the honey
yes.
packets. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, instead of, going out and preparing a nice, delicious Christmas dinner, like, you would traditionally do back in the States, I had KFC.
Yeah. So, I thought that was really interesting too. Like
Yeah.
the first year that I came here, I remember around Christmas time, I saw this huge line out in front of KFC near my house. I was living in Nakano, and there's like a KFC right by the
Sure.
station.
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
remember seeing this huge line. I'm like, what the heck is this?
Yeah.
And it was for their Christmas dinner
KFC?
kind of
it's-
thing.
It's so crazy.
Yeah. One thing that I've noticed that's kind of interesting is like, I feel like in Japan you have multiple seasons where people reserve a lot of food ahead of time and you have to
Sure.
get it in. So like
Yeah.
osechi ryori for the New Year's, it's like, even now I'm seeing like osechi ryori no
Oh, yeah.
goyoyaku uketamatte orimasu. I'm seeing that and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
November,
Yeah.
So like, I guess that's a thing in Japan that people like to do. They do it with KFC too.
Yeah. It's so crazy. Like you can't go to KFC like on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And expect to like actually be able to pick up one of the meals. Like you
Yeah.
gotta like either reserve it ahead of time or like be there like earlier in the day
Yeah.
to pick up the food.
Yeah, I heard.
It's-
Oh yeah, sorry. What were you
Oh
gonna say?
no, go for it.
No. So I heard that because like, I did some research into this and we talked about this before, that this was like a marketing stunt that KFC did to make like the KFC day.
Is that not the most ingenious thing ever?
Yeah.
Like I can just imagine like the marketing guys over at KFC, they're just like, yeah, so we opened up a whole bunch of restaurants in Japan, and people seem to be liking fried chicken there. But how can we sell more? And then the other guy was just like, well, what if we just like said it's a Christmas tradition and that you guys have to go like, buy 3,000 yen worth of chicken every Christmas. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah. That's a great idea. And then boom, now it's a tradition.
So I heard that it kind of goes back to like the turkey dinner image, like even Thanksgiving, because in Thanksgiving, you have a big turkey dinner, but there are no turkeys in Japan.
Sure.
So they have chicken. But for your family, because your family and my family are different. We're Greek. I don't know. You guys are something.
Mostly Irish.
Yeah. So what do you eat for Christmas every year at home?
So my mom usually cooks, like back when I was a kid, she usually cooked like 2 dinners. We would have roast ham, and we would do every once in a while we'd do like a turkey, and then we would also have 2 things for breakfast.
Okay.
She would make Belgian waffles and biscuits and gravy.
Okay.
And
well, if you take the turkey and the biscuits and gravy, you can kind of get
you get
a little bit of a similarity to the
little bit.
KFC.
Yeah.
See, my family was Greek.
Okay.
I mean, we still are Greek. We weren't past tense.
Did you just switch?
I switched. I'm not Greek anymore. No. So, but because of that, we had lamb every year for a while.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah, I know. So I've never had like the traditional Christmas dinner. I mean, now we started doing ham recently, but I've never been a big fan of ham.
Oh.
But so like I just remember thinking that it was so amazing, and I heard that it was the base of that was the turkey dinners that you have sometimes for Christmas or Thanksgiving.
Definitely.
That's where it came from.
Definitely. There's another tradition that I really like here in Japan that's also not a Japanese tradition, but it's very popular here. It's do you know what hot wine is?
Yeah.
So that's not something that I've ever had in the States. I didn't even know it existed. But then at least in Tokyo, you see these little German villages pop up around Christmas time, and it is the most magical experience ever. You'll get like usually like a festive like Christmas cup, and inside the cup, you have literally hot wine. It's just heated wine. Usually it's got like some herbs and spices in it, and then they put fruit inside it. And it's so good.
Well, that actually is from Germany. And that's because that's the thing that I really like, because I was born in Germany. So the thing that I miss most from Germany is the Weihnachtsmarkt, which is the Christmas market.
Yeah.
And in Germany they call that season, they call it like Weihnachten. I don't know what Weih means, but Nachten means like night.
Sure.
So what you would do is like once December hits, you put up these like little booths or something, kind of like what you see in Yokohama or something like that. And for the whole month of December, you just have little activities, special foods you can get. So that's where it comes from. And actually, the hot wine is from Germany. It's called Glühwein.
Oh, okay.
So that's why.
That makes sense, because when I go to Caldi, the international store, you get this. I think it's actually German Glühwein.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
It's like the 1,000 yen bottle. Usually it's on sale. It's like buy one get one free or something like that.
Yeah, it's really funny how it's like they've mixed different, like in Japan you have different kind of traditions and stuff, but a lot of it does come from the States, I think. Like in Germany, there's, I don't know if they have chicken dinners or turkey dinners in Germany.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that, it's just really interesting for me how, Christmas is kind of seen as like a Western thing, but it's become this completely different thing in Japan. Like one thing that really surprised me is that Christmas is more like a holiday for couples.
Yes, actually, I completely agree. It's I've had this discussion with people, because when you look at Christmas and New Year's, traditionally, Christmas is like in the US, and I'm sure it's probably the same way in Europe too. But Christmas is kind of thought to be like a family holiday, where it's like you spend a lot of time with your family, and then New Year's is like the party holiday. But in Japan, it's actually the opposite. Yeah. Like Christmas is where you're kind of, like you mentioned, you go out on dates, you kind of go out and kind of just do something like fun. And then, New Year's is like where you go to your hometown and like, meet your family and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting how, in Japan for New Year's, it really shocked me when I first experienced my first real New Year's after getting married, because we went to Niigata, and I was like, great, the whole family's together. What are we doing?
Party.
And they're like, let's do something great. Everyone's all together. What are we doing? Hey, we're watching TV.
Yeah.
Cool. What else are we doing? Eating mochi.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, cool. So like that's what my wife told me. So I was like, okay, sure, we'll do that. No, but seriously, from morning until night, it's watching TV, eating some mochi in the morning, watching more TV, maybe eating a little bit more, and like people just take naps on the floor. They're just like watching TV, taking naps, waking up, and I'm the kind of person that likes to do things. So I'm just like, okay, guys, I've had one day of this. I'm ready to do something else now.
Yeah, you probably didn't even expect to just wake up and go to temple and go wait in line for another 2 hours the next day.
So you have that too, but other than that, it's just staying at home and resting. Like it's funny because I always had this image in Japan of people being super hardworking and like working all the time, which is kind of true.
Yeah.
But when people take a rest, they really take a rest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just pass out and everything.
Do you have any fun New Year's stories?
Here in Japan?
Yeah.
Actually no. I've spent one New Year's.
Really?
Or, sorry, 2 New Year's in Japan, and both of them were spent falling asleep in front of a TV.
Yeah, right.
I have some fond Christmas memories.
Okay. You want to share some?
So, for me, I really like going and looking at Christmas lights. It's something that I've absolutely loved since I was a kid.
And what do you call them in Japanese here?
Illumination.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, it was kind of like a tradition, usually on Christmas Eve, but leading up to Christmas during December. My parents and I, and sometimes my brother and sister would come with us. We would just drive around the neighborhood and look at Christmas lights. Because in America, people decorate their houses with. They get really elaborate. There's Christmas lights all over their houses.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's even entire neighborhoods just dedicated to people going and viewing Christmas lights. But in Japan, it's a little different. Like no one decorates their houses, but there's like designated areas that you can go to like view illumination here in Japan.
Yeah, like parks or town centers.
Yeah, or even entire like little towns out in like the countryside.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
That's like they're specifically dedicated for that. They're just like shut down the other like 99% of the year.
Yeah.
I gotta admit, like I'm a complete sucker for that stuff.
Oh, really?
I love going and visiting like areas like that and looking at Christmas lights.
Yeah, you're much more romantic than I am. I'm like, these are nice lights. This is very creatively done. And then I'm like, okay, let's go do something else now. Like that's just how I am. But yeah, I just remember when I was in college and there was this girl that I liked, and she's like, I want to go see the Illuminations. I'm like, the what? The Illuminations. Okay, I know illumination means like lighting up. What is that? She's like, oh yeah, in this town. She showed me pictures, and I was like, oh wow, this is really. I mean, they're really beautiful. Some of them,
Yeah.
And in Niigata, so my wife is from Joetsu, and Joetsu, and the castle in Joetsu has this huge park around it, and that area is covered in illuminations, and so we go there.
I would love to see that. Yeah, I guess I'm a little bit of a romantic when it comes to Christmas.
Okay,
I'm just such a sucker for like really authentic Christmas stuff. Like I love all the little Santa pictures and like I said, Christmas lights, and oh man, if it starts snowing, I'll lose my mind. Like,
dude, I gotta tell you, we have to go to Germany sometime because that's where the real stuff.
Oh, I can imagine.
Happens.
I can imagine.
It's like the whole month, dude. It's a whole month. But yeah, what were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say like one other thing that I find really surprising here, and like you mentioned, it's kind of interesting how here in Japan, people have kind of pick and choose like different parts of holidays from around the world, right? Because Christmas is kind of traditionally like a very Christian holiday, but a lot of the religions kind of like taken out of it here, and also like in regards to Christmas, there's like little different snippets from like different countries. It's like you have like American Christmas mixed with German Christmas mixed with British Christmas and all these things. And because of that, I've got to experience like a lot of different things from different countries. Like, I don't have many American friends. It's like you and like one other guy are pretty much the only American friends I have.
Is it Andy?
Yeah.
And one other guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
For some reason, I always
Don't worry about it.
I always think of Andy as Korean.
Andy's from Wisconsin, so he's kind of like in the boonies. It's
I
fine.
don't know why I think of Andy as Korean. He's American.
Well, he is half Korean, but
Yeah.
he's definitely more American.
But yeah, so I lost my train of thought. Okay.
So you don't have many American friends?
Yeah, I don't have many American friends. Most of my friends are actually from the UK.
Okay.
So I have a Scottish friend, I have an Irish friend, I've got quite a few British friends. I don't know why that is. It's just the way things turned out. But I go have Christmas dinner usually with my friend, or we try to set up like a Christmas dinner during December. And so I get to experience British Christmas every year.
What's that like?
Oh man, it is the most wonderful experience. They have like a whole bunch of different kind of sweets that you'll have. They have these things called mince pies.
Oh, okay, I know mince pies.
Man,
Yeah,
those are so good. I love mince pies. And they make like a half dozen different things, and then usually they'll do like a roast lamb or roast ham, also, and it's really cool. Like I've got to experience all these different things from around the world that I never would have experienced if I lived in the U.S. So I feel really thankful about that. It's kind of cool that Japan's just like, hey, you know what? We're just gonna pick things we like, and that's our tradition now.
Yeah, it's kind of like the melting pot of everything's coming together.
Yeah,
I mean, I mean, that's one thing that I found, and I just read this in a book too. It's a book called The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, and like the last chapter is about assume formlessness. It means don't just settle on this one identity, or don't just focus on this one thing. Be fluid and adjust to change.
Okay.
I mean, that's the thing. But he talks about how the Japanese, how they so readily took different cultures in.
Yeah.
That's the reason they didn't become a colony. So like other countries, like the Chinese were like, okay, we don't want British involvement or something. But Japan for a while was like, oh, Portuguese come in, great. Let's all wear Portuguese clothes.
Yeah.
Oh, Americans come in, let's wear American clothes, you know?
Sure.
And so the Western powers were like, oh, cool, Japan is already becoming like us. We don't need to take control of them. They'll just be nice little helpers. And then they use that to kind of become their own, you know? It was pretty cool. But you see that even now today, where it's like, even in these past, 10 years or so, Halloween is becoming huge now.
Oh, it's exploded, man.
Yeah, especially in these past 5 years, I think.
So I feel really lucky to have kind of grew up and witnessed it evolve, because so I think I've mentioned a couple times I did homestay every year when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And so I was in Osaka. And when I first started coming here, it's like no one's ever heard of Halloween.
What year was that?
Oh my God, you're gonna make me think about this. Let's see.
In 1925.
Back in my day. So I am 31 right now, and I would be 14. So that was 17 years ago?
17 years ago.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
17 years ago was 2003, 2004.
Oh.
2004.
That doesn't feel good to say.
It's okay.
But anyways, 17 years ago, that was the first time I came here. And so I originally came in the summer. So I didn't get to experience it, but no one's heard of Halloween when I talked with people. And then 3 years later, I came during fall. Yeah. And I actually got to spend Halloween here. And it was kind of just like a small little quaint thing. Yeah. Like so a couple people would like meet in costumes like in Nanba. Okay. Which is basically like Shibuya for Osaka. Yeah. And then when I moved here, so I've lived here for 5 years. When I moved here, I arrived late August. And my friend was like, dude, hey, Halloween's coming up. Like, what are your plans? I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah. Like, what do you mean plans for Halloween? Yeah. Like, oh, yeah, just get a costume and let's just go to Shibuya. It's like, okay, well, where? It's like, no. Just
go to Shibuya.
Just go to Shibuya.
Yeah.
You're fine. So I agreed, and so like we went to Shibuya, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
It is crazy. Like you don't even have to go places. Like literally, the streets are so packed that you can't even bring cars there.
Yeah.
And there's foreigners, there's Japanese people. It's like it's a mix of everybody, and everyone's just kind of out in the streets drinking and doing crazy things.
Yes, like in the States, you would have everyone's wearing costumes, but you would have places where people would go have a party or something, or at a club or something.
Yeah.
But in Shibuya, you don't really even have that. It's just everyone's just hanging out in the streets. The whole area just becomes a big party, and people take pictures with each other.
Yeah,
their costumes. Yeah, I remember I went there in 2000. I went there in 2016.
Mm-hmm. I
was surprised at how many people were there.
It's insane. It's gotten a little bit more regulated now. Because I was actually there was a big incident about a car getting tipped over.
Oh yeah, right.
I was there.
Oh, you were there.
I was
there
man. When that happens.
Yeah.
I literally saw the car.
Yeah.
It was such a weird experience because so it's oh god, it was probably about 2 or 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
And it's like at that point, like everyone's pretty drunk.
Everything happens.
At that point,
yeah.
Right? And it was kind of weird how fast everything happened. Because it's like
so you actually saw it happen.
Oh yeah, I was literally there.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I got to experience like I saw it on the news like the next day. I was like, oh yeah, I was standing right there. But it's yeah, it was like everyone's pretty drunk, and there was like the cops started lining up, and it's like once you see cops lining up, you kind of know that something probably bad is about to happen.
Yeah.
And but everyone was still kind of like in a party mood, and then it just quickly like at like the snap of a finger, everyone was like, I guess we hate the police now.
Really?
Yeah. So like people started like yelling at the cops and everything.
Really?
And then like, I think there was a fire that got started too. And then a car got tipped over.
Yeah, it gets... Wow, I had no clue. I mean, I saw in the news that a car got tipped over, but I didn't know... Wow.
Yeah. Well, it's so the thing that I find kind of comical about it is how big of a news story that ended up being, because it's like going back home, it's like, dude, it would never be national news that a car got tipped over.
Dude, well, so here's the thing, right? Like this is, and it's funny because I see this because I don't have a TV here, but my wife's parents do, and when we go back to Niigata about 2 times a year or 3 times a year or something, and so I watch TV when I'm there because it's always on.
Sure.
And when I look at the news stories, I always think, man, Japan's a really safe place.
Oh, it's weird how safe it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember, what was it, a couple years ago, there was this news about how after the fireworks, this 3-year-old boy went missing because he couldn't find his way home or something like that. Yeah. And it was on the news. It was on all of the news stations, on national news and local news, everything, for like 3 straight days. Yeah. And they were like, no, we need to help find this. And there were search parties sent from all over Japan to find this kid. Yeah. And it turns out that he was just like hanging out in the woods by himself because he got lost, and then they found him and they brought him home. But I'm like, dude, in the States that would never happen. Yeah. It's like, oh, another lost child? Well, we can't put them all on the screen.
Whatever.
You know?
I mean, that kid's been gone for 3 hours. It's like, might as well just give up.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean,
it's crazy. I mean, like even hearing about the stuff that happened, like with the person attacking
with the
people
train,
on the train, and everything. It's like it's weird to talk about that with my coworkers because they're like, oh my god, this is so horrible, and it's like, well, I mean, back in America, it's like maybe that would make the
a shooter kills
news.
50 people.
Yeah, it's like maybe that would make the evening news, and like if I was watching it in Seattle, it's like, yeah, some guy stabbed somebody. Hey, anyways, in other news, like here's what happened. Like,
yeah, dude, it's just amazing the magnitude of things. But once again, that's one of the reasons why I'm happy to live here with my family.
Man. Yes, please.
I'm a gentleman. I'll be out. I gotta save a little bit for Masa. He's patiently waiting.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, so like one thing though, Masa, I want to ask you about Halloween. So in the States, we have the trick or treat where you go to people's houses and like you get candy and stuff. In Japan now, for Halloween with your kids, do you do something?
やってる人もいるね。でも家には行かないんだよ。
いや、でも普段なんかやるんだったら何をやるんだっけ？
みんな
Cosplay. Oh, yeah, you wear costumes.
Mm-hmm.
So did you and your child do anything this year for home? Okay.
Mm.
So, but that's something that I want to have come to Japan. Is not just like go
Yeah.
crazy party, but
Yeah.
like my son Lewis, I want him to be able to like experience trick or treat.
From what I understand, that's starting to pick up in some places. Because I talked with my coworker and just in her apartment complex, she was able to take her kids
Okay.
trick or treating. But I think that was literally just her apartment complex. So I don't think it's a widespread thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think maybe. In
Yeah, I
the
mean, one of
future
these
it might-
days. I just because I remember doing trick or treat when I was a
Oh,
kid.
it's so much fun.
I know.
It's so much fun.
Yeah, and
I got a funny story about
Yeah.
that actually. It's a cute story actually. So I was too little to remember this, but my mom told me it. So the very first year that I was old enough to go trick or treating, I think I was like maybe 4 or 5 or something, right? And so my parents dressed me up. I think I was like a pumpkin or something.
Okay.
But anyways, so like I didn't understand the concept of trick or treating.
Okay.
Because I was just too young, right? But I understood that when people open the door, you go inside,
Oh yeah.
right? Because
Okay.
like, I've been with my parents and, when they go to someone else's house, it's like, yeah, they open the door and you go inside.
Okay.
Right? So like my parents took me out trick-or-treating and so we went to the first house and so we knocked on the door and the people opened the door. I just like bolted right inside. I was like, yeah, have you got any toys in here? People were like, who is this kid?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
why are you inside
Yeah.
my house now? So
Yeah. Man.
yeah, it took me a while to figure out how things worked.
Yeah. Right. Oh man. Yeah. Hopefully one of these days.
Yeah, it'd
Halloween
be great
comes
if
in
you could
too.
take your son out trick-or-treating.
Yeah.
That'd be super cool.
Yeah, I mean, so you see how it's like, okay, so at first it was like Christmas, then it's Valentine's Day, now it's Halloween. I'm expecting Easter will come by one of
Let
these
me
days.
tell
too.
you about how much of a scam Valentine's Day is in this country.
It's not a scam. It's wonderful for the guys.
Is it though?
I think so. Okay, so tell me why you think it's not good for the guys.
All right. So let's talk about Valentine's Day.
First, let's talk about the differences
Let's
of how
talk
it's
about the
different.
differences. So Valentine's Day in Japan is split up over 2 days.
Yeah.
Right. So traditionally in Western countries, you would see Valentine's Day. It's like traditionally the guy is supposed to get the girl something, right? Sometimes the girl gets the guy something, but usually that's not the important one. And you guys like spend the day with each other doing like romantic things, like going to dinner and like getting candles and lighting candles and getting like flowers and everything, and chocolates. Here in Japan, it's still similar to that, but on actual Valentine's Day, the girls are supposed to give the guys stuff.
Yeah.
Which on paper sounds like a great plan.
Yeah.
But I never get anything.
Dude, that's just because girls don't like you.
Yeah, apparently. No, but like my students will give me like,
Okay.
chocolate or something. But
Girichoko, right?
even back when I was in a relationship, I never got anything.
You
It-
just had
it-
a bad girl, that's
Yeah,
all.
apparently. I never got anything, but I still had to like do the romantic stuff because it was
Yeah.
Valentine's Day. So I ended up having to do more things. And then the big scam is a month later we have White Day, where that's
March
when
14th.
so that's when the guys are supposed to do stuff for girls.
Yeah.
And traditionally on White Day you're supposed to get like white stuff, so
Yeah,
like
yeah.
white chocolates, that
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of thing. So for me, it always felt like I had to go through 2 Valentine's days.
I see that.
So-
No, so I get that. I mean, so what I just think it's great because like you get chocolate. Like, I remember when I was in college, I didn't get chocolate from a ton of girls, but maybe from like 2 or 3 or something like
Yeah.
that. And in the workplace too, there's this concept called girichoku, which literally means like duty chocolate, where you actually have to make chocolate for your coworkers and stuff like that. But I remember too, like, so my wife and I, we got married February 18th, and I came back a little bit earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And so she surprised me when I arrived with Valentine's Day chocolates. And I was like, oh, welcome to Japan. This is great. And then with the whole White Day thing, yeah, I mean, so for the guy with White Day, you're supposed to get something a lot more expensive for. So she makes you
Yeah.
chocolate. You get like
Yeah.
something that's at least 3 to 5 times more expensive. But
Oh God, try like
so
30 or 40 times.
Well, yeah, I mean,
more
it depends. It depends on what
like,
it's. Yeah.
Hey, I made you, or I got chocolates. It's like, all right, cool. I guess I have to get you a diamond necklace now.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, no, but the concept, I remember, like, because for me, Valentine's Day was like the day when I have to do things. And actually, though, now I save myself because I've turned Valentine's Day into like the Western style where I do things for my wife, so there's no white day for me. I don't have to do anything extra for her now because I covered it in. It's my strategy, right?
Oh my God, she just hasn't realized that she can double dip.
No. She can't double dip because I do because I do the things on Valentine's Day, so she can't do the things on Valentine's Day. So there's no white day. That's how it works. But yeah, it'll
change.
I hope not. But that's something that was just really interesting for me. How it's like Valentine's Day is like the guy shows their love to their girl.
Yeah.
Not in Japan. It's the opposite.
Yeah.
Man. So actually, Masa, I have a question for you. So for Valentine's Day, I mean, how long have you been married now?
Yeah.
どのくらい
Ah,
結婚してる?
4 years.
4 years? 5 years?
Five.
Okay. Do you still do things for Valentine's Day or not so much anymore?
I give her chocolate.
On Valentine's Day?
Every year but white day.
On White Day. On White Day.
Yeah.
Right. But what does she do something for you on Valentine's Day? No?
Yes, she made for me.
Okay. Yeah, so Masa's very lucky where
Yeah.
she makes chocolate for him and he gives her a little something. It's
Yeah.
nothing too bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's kind of nice because you actually have that balance. I mean, it depends on, like, so if your girl is a gold digger, then you have to buy her like a diamond necklace and something. But if you get a nice woman, you know, you don't have to worry about that stuff so much. Yeah. I learned quickly that the so like the girl gets you something on Valentine's Day, I'm like, oh crap, I have to do something on White Day. Quick, let me do something so she doesn't want to be friends with me anymore. And then and then I don't have to do anything back.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I will say though, Valentine's Day is kind of nice in Japan because it's kind of, you can kind of use Valentine's Day as a reminder for White Day. So like Valentine's Day, like a big thing. Like I'm so bad. Maybe that's why I don't have a girlfriend now. I am terrible with like remembering dates.
Yeah.
I'm horrible with it. I can't remember birthdays. I honestly, I'm embarrassed to say this. I probably couldn't list off all of my immediate family's birthdays.
Okay.
That's how bad I am with birthdays.
Okay.
It's terrible. I've gone 2 years now where I've forgotten my own birthday.
Really?
Yeah. It's
wow.
I'm
Okay.
terrible with dates.
Okay.
So Valentine's Day also falls under that forgetting thing.
Yeah.
And so what I like about here in Japan is I can use Valentine's Day as like, oh crap, okay, so I have to buy something now. So it's like that reminder, whereas like back in the US it's like, oh, it's Valentine's Day, I haven't gotten anything for them, let me just find something in the immediate vicinity right here and buy something.
It's a nice reminder.
Yeah.
You know, I get that. Yeah, so like if we're gonna like put a bow on this, just kind of wrap this up, like one thing that I really like about Japanese holidays and stuff is that, I mean, there's an aspect of shopping and stuff to that, but I think, like you said, with the Illuminations for Christmas or like making chocolate, because a lot of people, they don't just buy chocolate, they'll make chocolate, right?
Yes.
And so it's kind of taking a moment out of your day to just enjoy what you have and focus on something else.
Yeah, I've kind of thought all of the holidays that have been adopted here. It's really cool that there's always an activity associated with them, and it's always something that's very unique. Yeah, you know, Christmas, it's like you go do Illumination, you eat fried chicken. Halloween, you wear a costume. Valentine's Day, you're making chocolate and going and doing stuff. You know, there's like all these tiny little things that are really different, and they're really like kind of like a condensed version of what they would be in their original countries. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, so I mean, it kind of goes back to like what I've noticed in Japan is I feel like in the States, maybe because America is an immigrant country where people who were not satisfied with their life, they wanted to have a better life and they wanted to work hard and get a better life, so they came here. So a lot of people are focused on working more, making more money. I mean, and kind of focusing on that materialistic side of things. But I see in Japan, there's a larger focus on
just enjoying the moment with things. So like those activities, but also it goes down to even the manhole covers on the street, how they have nice designs and stuff on them. Or the little cute characters for everything, you know?
Yeah.
So that's, I feel like when I walk around here, I'm constantly reminded of, you know, you don't have to necessarily think about the future. Let's just think about this moment. That's really nice too.
Completely agree, man.
So on that note, what are we going to talk about next time? マサなんか特に聞きたいことはありますか？次回のトピックスとして。
次回なんだろうね。日本の祭りとかどうかしら。
Oh yeah,
Oh,
we can
okay.
talk about omatsuri next
Sure,
time. I have
sure,
some good stories about omatsuri.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's like very. So we've talked about how Western holidays are like in Japan. Now we can talk about Japanese holidays.
I would love to talk about that because that kind of dips into adopting Japanese traditions as a foreigner too. That I would like to talk about.
Yeah, well, let's do that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, great.